this and
Give me all you got!
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm smiling like the Cheshire Cat because I have someone who I have very much look up to because of all the trials and tribulations he's been through and everything he's had to overcome to bring us the message of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, the former High Wizard of the world, Mr. Zachary King. Mr. King, thank you again for being with us. I'm super excited to have you here, and welcome.
Thank you for welcoming me to your show.
Absolutely.
I mean, some people, they kind of welcome me at the front, and then the debate starts.
No. And for the folks that are going to be listening afterwards, Mr. King is a Catholic, and I'm a Protestant, but we both are brothers in the because of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. And
also, who wants us to get on here and fight and have division? I would say Satan.
Old Stitch. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Satan wants us to fight. He wants a knockdown, drag out. I'm yelling at you for being wrong. You're yelling at me for being wrong. And we cite places in the Bible where each one of us is doing the wrong thing. And
that's exactly right.
And even if I believe that, I wouldn't say it on the show. This is your show. I'm treating you with respect, the same as I expect to get back from you.
Absolutely.
And we can talk about our differences off the air. We ain't got to air them out in public.
And I don't think we have many.
I don't think we did. We talked the other day for over an hour on the phone.
Yeah, it was an awesome
I got along with you like you were my best friend. I hadn't talked to you in forever.
Yeah, and it took everything in me not to call you in the middle of the week, and I was like, I don't want to bother that man. But that and the folks on my channel, they know, like, I tell them all the time, I got Catholic brothers and sisters, Methodists, Episcopalian, all that stuff shoved to the side. If we've been born again of the Spirit of God, and Jesus Christ is our Lord and Savior, we can figure out the rest later on down the road. We're brothers and sisters. So, Mr. King, I was talking about your everything you've been through. Now, you've been practicing magic since you were 10 years old.
Yes.
And efficiently. Would you like to tell the folks about that, or wherever you would like to start? I think that's a magnificent starting point, because you were practicing magic at 10. I think I was playing with G.I. Joes at 10 years old.
G.I. Joes were before that. I think I was about 7 years old and I had G.I. Joe. I had watched every movie that ever came on TV that had to do with magic. Plus, I had watched, at that time, we had Doug Henning, who did sleight of hand stuff.
Right.
And we had Penn and Teller, who also did sleight of hand stuff. And that looked really good, but I didn't feel that was real magic. I thought there was real magic out there. And I asked my Baptist preacher, is magic real? No. Doug Henning can do it, and it's stuff on TV, but it's not in real life. Doug Henning, magic doesn't exist. And my dad, I talked to my parents about it, and they said the same thing. But I know that sometimes my dad says something, and later I find out that he's wrong. Parents don't know everything. Maybe they're wrong. Maybe they're lying to me. Sometimes parents lie, I think, to keep their kids safe.
Right.
Now, somehow, my Baptist preacher and my parents missed the 33 places in the Bible that say not to do magical things. Now, there's magic, M-A-G-I-C, and that's sleight of hand and card tricks, illusion. And there's magic, M-A-G-I-C-K. And that K is what Aleister Crowley added to the word magic to differentiate sleight of hand magic from satanic magic. And satanic magic would be real magic. Now, I had a friend like 3 years ago say that he has $10,000 in his bank and he will give me that $10,000 if I can prove magic is real. I said, all right. So he came over to my house and I was going to prove it. And I said, you know that thou shalt not kill is in the 10 Commandments one time. He goes, yeah, I know. I said, thou shalt not steal and thou shalt not lie. Those are all in there one time. God tells you one time, do not kill. And that one time should be enough. You know, you now know you're not allowed to kill.
Right.
You know, you're not allowed to steal. You're not allowed to lie. I said, but he says, don't do magic 33 times. For him to say it once was powerful. And it means a lot. What does it mean when he says it 33 times? I said, to me, that's proof that magic works. Magic is real because God says not to do it 33 times. I'm still waiting for my $10,000.
And
so
that's remarkable. I didn't never know that. I never knew that, brother, that it was 33 times. It's an emphasis put on it.
And I used to tell people 30 times, and a preacher told me it's 33. I was like, thank you for correcting me. Now I know. Now I can say that. So I'm going through life, though. I didn't read the 10 Commandments. I didn't read the entire Bible by the time I was 10 years old. And which was weird because I was Baptist and we do that kind of stuff, you know, and memorize big passages. And I didn't start that till I entered a Christian school. But, you know, I'm got a burning desire to know if magic is real. And I want to do a spell to prove it either works or it doesn't. Now, I didn't understand the rules of magic back then. To make a magic spell real and work, you need intention, repetition, and demonic presence. So the kids that say, I've tried all the Harry Potter spells and they don't work, they must be fake. Well, no, according to J.K. Rowling, she did 1/3 of her research in occult books. And also, according to J.K. Rowling's, she put real spells in her books to make them authentic. And according to a paper she wrote, she used to have it on her website, and it said that she believes that the Wiccan church is the one true church, and that she intentionally manipulated the minds of young people to believe magic was real so that they would all join the Wiccan movement because it's a dying religion because everybody in it's old. And they need new lifeblood to come in, and that's children. You know, she needs children to become Wiccan and idolize the faith.
So indoctrinating them at a young age, basically.
Yeah. Yeah, because all kids love Harry Potter.
For sure.
And, you know, it's the Father Gabriel Amorth. He was our most famous exorcist at the Vatican. He said, you start off with a likable chap, Harry Potter, but eventually all magic leads to the devil.
Wow.
You know, I had a parent stand up at one of my conferences and yell at me that Harry Potter is just a book. And I said, yeah, just like the Bible is just a book, just like the Quran is just a book, Hustler magazine is just a book. Which one of those three do you let your child read because it's just a book?
That's a very, very good point. And that's been the argument for a long time. There's actually I have friends that are preachers that are fans of Harry Potter, and they're like, oh, well, I know that it has, you know, some magic in it. And I told them, you know, I never really got into it as a younger man because my parents would probably put me in an insane asylum if they found that book. You know, but,
well, there was an exorcist that was doing an exorcism of somebody. This was a few years ago. And when the demon manifested, he bound it in the name of Christ and made it answer some questions, including he made it answer what its name was. And its name is one of the six. And Father was like, one of the six of what? What is one of the six? And he said that he was one of six demons that helped write J.K. Rowling's book Harry Potter.
Whoa.
That she asked through automatic writing to get possessed so she could write a hit series.
Wow.
And then she got possessed by six demons, and the six demons wrote Harry Potter.
That's a revelation right there. Which it makes sense. Like you said, there's real magic with the K. And
right. So, but, you know, all that would have been lost on me at 10 years old. You know, I just knew that, is magic real? Is this something I can do? Now, I was playing Dungeons and Dragons at this time. It had been out for a couple of years, and I was friends with a lot of older kids at church, and they all played D&D. So I wanted to be cool with them, and I'm a little math geek, and so I hang out with them, and I find out it's a math-based game, and you have a 20-sided die, and you have to roll for different powers and different abilities, and this was a lot of fun for me. And then we would actually dress up in costumes like our character, and go to one of our friends' bedrooms and totally act out all these scenes. But there's magic spells in there, because to do a campaign, you need money. So you do a spell for gold, or a spell for rubies and emeralds, anything that you can finance your campaign with.
Right.
So I took a magic spell from there, did a magic spell for money. Now, see, I was also figuring, what magic spell can I do where no one gets hurt? Like, I'm a little fat, nerdy kid. I don't like PE, but I know if I break my coach's leg, they'll replace him with another PE coach. And the second one could be worse than the first one. So right. I don't want to do that. I don't like the pop quiz I get every Friday. But if I get rid of that teacher, they'll replace her with another teacher. And she might also do something that I don't like. So what spell can I do where I'm not hurting somebody, but I get something out of it? And I thought, money. Somebody loses some cash, I find it. I should be fine. So I do a spell for money. I did it on a Friday. Saturday I went out, and I found a can of tennis balls with a $5 bill in it. 3 tennis balls? I don't have anything to do with that. But $5, this is 1976. Comic books are 15 to 20 cents. Candy bars are 20 cents. Penny candy are a penny. If my dad will pay the tax, I've got enough money to buy 500 pieces of candy. Now, to put that in perspective also, that penny candy back then now costs 50 cents.
Wow.
And to put that also in perspective, when my dad was a kid, you could get 10 pieces of candy for a penny.
Talk about inflation.
That'd be in the 1930s. So in the 1970s, that money was worth 7 times what it is now.
That's remarkable. And I like how you kind of use that child's logic, like, all right, this is how much candy I'm going to get with this.
Right. You know, 500 pieces, I win. Absolutely. And, but somebody had to find that can of tennis balls. Just happened to be me. That could have been a coincidence. So the next Friday, I did the magic spell again. And this time I went out and I found a $10 bill on the side of the road. But there were people walking in front of me and people behind me. Those people in front of me just didn't look down. I happened to look down at the ground and saw a $10 bill in the grass. So that's 1,000 pieces of candy. And, you know, but still, this could have been a coincidence. Now, at the same time as I'm trying this and I'm playing D&D at home or at friends' houses, I'm also, when I was at school, this would have been in the 5th grade, this kid came up to me the very first day of school, and he said, meet me in the bathroom at the first break. Well, we didn't have kids aware, no internet to tell you not to go meet somebody in the bathroom. My parents never said, if somebody says, meet me in the bathroom, don't go. You know, there was nothing like that. And he was a kid. He was the same as me. He was the same age as me, the same grade as me. And he's telling me to meet him in the bathroom at the first break. Okay. What do I know?
Right.
So at 10:20, that's the first break, I go in there. You have 15 minutes for a break. You're allowed to go outside and play, hang out with your friends. You can do pretty much anything you want. You just can't leave the campus. So I go in the bathroom. There's about 49 other kids. It's a huge bathroom. It's a brand new school, brand new building. So 49 other kids in the bathroom, boys and girls in the same room. And they said, we're going to turn out the lights, chant a certain phrase, and if you do it right, the spirit of a burn victim will show up in the mirror. You know, and it's like, all right, I've never heard of this before, but I'll try it. Now they turn out the lights. Now everybody's apprehensive because some people are still scared of the dark. You know, and here we are 10 years old and it's dark in this room.
Right.
And we chant the phrase. Now, it's not a game, it's a spell. Repeating the phrase is repetition. You all want the face to show up in the mirror. That's intention. If there's a demon present, you're going to see the face. And it's not the spirit of a burn victim, it's a demon. We apparently did it right and we had a demon present because it manifested in the mirror. And 49 kids ran screaming out of the bathroom. One child, we'll say he's an idiot, and I can say he's an idiot because it was me, stayed in the bathroom thinking, do this thing in the world. I did this spell. I made this thing appear. Now, I'm not smart enough to figure that it's a demon. I'm thinking it's the spirit of a burn victim, and it looks like a burn victim. Its skin is really shiny, it's dark, and it's got these two pieces of skin that go from the upper lip down to the bottom lip, and it looks like the skin melted. So all this makes sense for being a burn victim. But remember, too, that at 10 years old, you're not the sharpest tack.
Right.
That land in that mirror, you're not, that image isn't being transported from 3,000 miles away, and you're seeing the magical image in the mirror. That image isn't even in the room behind the mirror, and you're seeing in that room. That's not what you're seeing. If you're seeing the image in the mirror, it's standing next to you. But I'm not smart enough to figure that out. I didn't realize that there was a demon standing next to me and I was seeing the reflection in the mirror. So eventually, kids got hurt playing this game. And I don't mean bumped and bruised hurt. I mean broken arm, broken leg hurt.
Mm.
And so the school sent notes home that our parents had to sign and we had to bring back. And it said if your child is caught playing this game, he'll be suspended for 3 days. Well, I had to take this note to my dad in the den and read it. Now, normally what happens is that I say, Dad, you need to read this and sign it, and I have to take it back to school. He takes it, he signs it, and he hands it back to me. He never looks at it. He doesn't even care what's on it. But today was a different day. Today, my dad, who had been a U.S. Marine and had that Marine mentality and gruffness, you know, and with his usual love in his voice, took it and read it and said in his usual loving tone, "Have you been playing this game?" Being terrified of my dad as I was, I told him 100% the truth. No. So I wouldn't get caught at school and get suspended and get to spend 3 lovely days with my dad. I stopped playing at school and started playing it at home.
Mm.
I'm addicted to this game. I love this game. But when I played it at school, I played it once a day. Now, I get up in the morning, I use the bathroom and play the game, I wash my hands and play the game. I brush my teeth, I play the game. I go out, I have breakfast, I come back, I brush my teeth again, I play the game. I wash up, I play the game. I get ready for school, I play the game. I get dressed, I play the game. I've got a bathroom in my room, so I'm just constantly playing the game before school. And when I get out of school, I come home and I start playing the game again. And my parents aren't home, they're at work. They own 2 companies. And I'm playing the game up to 50 times a day. Every time I play it, I see the face. So the third time I did the magic spell, I did the spell for money in the bathroom at home. And halfway into it, I stopped it and I did the Bloody Mary game. And when the face showed up, I held up cash and showed it my candles and my parchment. And so it could see I'm doing a spell for money. And the next day, that was a Friday, the next day I went out to play. And I'm in this big unpaved parking lot and something really shiny catches my eye. And I run off to see what it is. I can't find anything shiny, but I find something that looks like Monopoly money rolled up tight in rubber bands. So I put that in my pocket, go back to playing. Later that night, everybody's in bed. Everybody's in their own beds, in their own rooms. I'm in my room, my lights are out, but I'm sitting in my bed under a sheet, got a flashlight in my mouth, and I'm looking up my treasure. What have I found? I unraveled all these rubber bands. I had $100 bill. I'd never seen $100 bill, so it looked like Monopoly money to me.
Huh.
But when I unraveled everything, I had 10 $100 bills. I can now go buy 100,000 pieces of candy. If I did the spell every day, in 1 year I could buy a Lamborghini Countach. In 3 years I could be a millionaire. And I thought, this is the most awesome thing in the world. My parents have no idea that magic really works. Magic is a real thing. So they're walking through life clueless. My Baptist preacher has no idea. And I just got $1,000 from doing a magic spell that no one thinks I can do. My closet somehow, I have a huge closet, a giant walk-in closet. And my mom had like a shopping addiction. She was always buying me clothes and putting it in there. So if I bought myself clothes and put it in there, she wouldn't notice. When my dad asked, where'd you get that? I could say my mom bought it, and he'd believe it. And I mean, she didn't go to mainstream stores and buy. Her addiction was Goodwill. But she would buy clothes that looked brand new. Some clothes still had their tags on them. And they would fit me. So I could buy myself a leather jacket, put it in my closet, and when I'm wearing it, my dad goes, where on earth did you get that? Mom got it at Goodwill. And she bought so many clothes, she doesn't remember what she got and what she didn't. So I had boots that I liked, shoes that I liked, a leather jacket that I liked, pants, shirts, but I also bought albums, Kiss Alive 2,
Nice.
Cooper's Greatest Hits, Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell. Pretty much anything that played on the radio that I liked, that I heard, that I liked, I'd buy it. And back then, I mean, Kiss Alive 2 was like $6.99.
Brand new album.
Alice Cooper's Greatest Hits was $3.99.
Wow.
Meatloaf, I think, was $5.99. I'm enjoying. I can buy anything. It's like, let me go buy some candy, and I don't have to ask my dad for money, or hear him say no. So I'm doing all the magic, and I'm playing D&D almost every weekend, and I'm still doing the Bloody Mary thing because I'm constantly seeing his face, and it seems to be. I feel like he's my friend. He doesn't say anything to me. He doesn't talk negative to me. He doesn't make fun of me. He just shows up. Shows up whenever I want him to. And he shows up. Sometimes I talk to him and tell him what's going on in my life.
Wow.
And then, my dad sometimes would be like, who are you talking to? Talking to myself.
But you felt like a comfort from this.
Yeah, and I would tell him that I'm sorry, I've got to go, and I turn out the light and, leave. But, I'm relying on something for comfort that I really should not be.
Right.
But had my parents been open to giving me comfort, I would have gone to them, but they weren't that kind of parent. I mean, they told me they loved me, but you know, if I just burst out in tears one day, they didn't want to know why. You know, they wouldn't give me comfort like that. You know, be like,
Right.
why are you crying? Toughen up, move along, suck it up, Buttercup. You know, and like, thanks for handling that. Thanks for taking care of my fears. Appreciate it. So, at 11 years old, I became the survivor of a sexual assault at school, at the hands of a female teacher, who told me that it was my idea and I wanted to do it. And if I tell anybody, I'll be expelled from school, I'll be arrested and I'll go to prison, and my parents will disown me. When I get out of prison, she made it sound like it would all happen in the same year. When I get out of prison, I won't be allowed to go back home and I won't be allowed to come to school. I'll have to get a job. I'm 11 years old. I got to get a job and support myself, pay rent and buy my own groceries and do all that stuff. You know, and obviously, why would she lie to me? She's a teacher. So I believe she was telling me the truth, so I couldn't tell anybody. So the only thing that gave me comfort and solace was magic.
Wow.
So I delved further into magic, you know, started doing even more of that. And then when I was 12 years old, there was a kid when I was 10 that used to play D&D with us. He was my age. Now, he went to the same church as me. He went to the same school as me. And he suddenly stopped playing D&D, stopped going to school, and stopped going to church. So we just assumed he moved away. When I was 12 years old, he moved back. He's playing D&D again, and he's going to church again, he's going to school again. But he told us he didn't move away. He was homeschooled. I have children that live with me.
No worries.
So they will yell or something or sing or run into the room sometimes.
No, just like any typical kid, just like we did when we were kids.
Right. And if you tell them, hey, your dad's got an interview, that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, it's like, okay. And they go back to
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then they run into the room singing and skipping.
Yeah, I love that. My daughter does the same thing. She'll look me right in the eyes with a cute little face, and I'll say, all right, you got to be quiet. Daddy has an interview. This is when she was younger. She's 18 now in college. But yeah, I'm like, all right, Daddy's talking to such and such. Okay, Daddy. Rah, rah, rah. I love them.
Well, you got to cherish the young moments. You got to cherish those moments.
Absolutely.
Because in a blink of an eye, you know, they're like, Dad, don't talk to me. Don't even look at me.
Yeah.
Take me to the mall and drop me off. No one can see you or I'll be uncool.
Exactly. You know, like I only have one daughter, and I remember the time, like, cause she's my baby, and I've called her that since she was a baby, you know. I was like, all right, baby, have a good day at school. And she's like, Dad, I'm a little too old to call baby. I'm not a baby anymore. And I was like, you know what, sweetie, you're right. I'm sorry. Then, you know, I had to choke back some tears. I feel like, okay, my baby's she's a grown up now.
My wife calls Chewy, that's my youngest, calls him my baby boy. And she says that all the time. It's every day. And he's like, at school, he was like, stop calling me that.
Yeah.
You know, you can't call me my baby boy in front of all my friends.
But there's the caveat in front of my friends.
Right. You know, you can do it at home in the privacy of our home where only family can see it.
Yeah.
But not in front of my friends.
And that's why I have to explain to my daughter. I was like, kiddo, that's a part of my lexicon now. You're always going to be my baby. She's like, I understand, Daddy. Just could you be more aware of it when my friends are around? Be like, deal, done and done.
My dad used to call me baby dumpling. I looked like a little baby dumpling, I guess, when I was a little kid.
Yeah.
A little baby. My dad called me baby dumpling until the time I was 18.
My dad did too. I was his baby boy. He's like, baby boy. I'm like, Dad, I'm 19.
My dad would call me baby, but I took it really as a term of endearment.
Absolutely.
You know, so one day he's not going to call me baby dumpling. And that day I'm going to feel hollow inside because it's like,
Right.
I'm not your baby dumpling anymore. You know,
Yeah.
so he told
When
me
I
that.
became a grown man and he had a granddaughter, like you just said, those terms of endearment, you miss those when you get older.
I was in my 40s and I was taking care of my dad. And it was me and my ex-wife taking care of my mom and dad when they were older. They were on hospice. And my dad smiled and gave me a hug and said, "This is my baby dumpling."
Oh,
And I was like, I miss that.
yeah.
17 years without that. And, you know, I missed hearing that's my baby dumpling. Or having him ask me to do something and say, "Baby dumpling, why don't you go mow the grass?" You know,
Right.
and, you know, even my friends were like, they didn't make fun of me for it. They were like, our parents used to have nicknames for us too, but they stopped when we were like 4 or 5. And I was like, my dad is still his term of endearment for me.
Yeah. That's real love.
Right.
And you're right. You miss that after they're gone. But
So we're going back to my story.
yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
Oh, that's
segue
all
us
right.
over there.
All right. So 11 years old, that happens to me. 12 years old, this kid starts playing with us again. And we found out that he didn't move away, that he was homeschooled, and that he went to church at home, and that he was trained. He was actually trained to be a satanic recruiter, so he could recruit kids at 12 years old.
Wow.
And the church he went to he was in a satanic coven. Now, he didn't say it was a satanic coven, and he didn't say he was a satanic recruiter. But later I realized that's what he was. And he came to our D&D group, and he said that he plays D&D with another group that also believes magic is real. Well, I know magic is real, and that it's a really fun group of people to hang out with. I should give them a try. Now, he said it to the entire room, but no one else was interested. I was the only one because they thought magic was real. So I started going over there. Now, during the summer, at my house, you could get 3 meals a day and a snack if my mom was in a good mood. But over there, and your snack and your food is going to be fruits and veggies. You know, you come home for a snack, here's an apple, here's an orange, here's a plum, here's a tangerine. You know, but over there, they've got a pantry filled with about 80 boxes of candy. Any kind of candy you would want is in that pantry. And the first time I was there and I saw they had like 5 candy bars that I really liked. So I was getting all 5 out, and they're like, "Oh, don't do that. Just come back to it however many times you want to come back." I was like, "Oh." So I put 4 of them back, took 1, went back again. I said, "I'm going to get another one." They're like, "You don't have to say anything. You don't have to ask permission. Just do it." So, you know, at my house, you can't do that. Even if you're getting an apple, you have to ask.
Right.
So, you know, I'm getting candy bars anytime I want. They asked me what I wanted for supper. I said, "What do you mean? You know, we don't get a choice at home. You're eating whatever mom is fixing." You know, and they're like, "No, what do you want? What would you like to have?" I was like, "A pizza." They're like, "Okay." So they went out and bought a pizza. At my house, we never went out and bought a pizza. We would go to the grocery store and buy one. I didn't know what this concept was of going to an actual restaurant and buying a pizza.
Right.
And then, you know, if you wanted to smoke a cigarette, here, let me teach you how. Or a cigar, or a pipe, or a bong. You know, it's like if you want to do something perfect, smoke a cigarette or a cigar after you've eaten. If you want to be even more perfect than that, smoke a bong and then eat, because even if you just ate, now you've got the munchies and you have to eat. You know, or why don't you take this drug and see what it does? Snort this and see how you feel. Take this acid and wait till that kicks in, and then take this MDMA And that's called candy flipping when you combine the two of them. And it is an amazing time. There's a guy on YouTube that has a video where he's candy flipping. And I can't watch it because it puts me right in that mindset. And I'm almost candy flipping at the same time as him, even though I'm not on any drugs. You know, I can totally feel what he's going through. So
from it just being that intense of a sensation. Wow.
Yeah, because you want to feel what things feel like.
Right.
You want to if you could have carpet on the wall, you'd stand there all day and rub your hand through it, move your finger through it, poke it, rub your face on it. It just sensations are incredible. But then if you're also tripping at the same time, you're seeing things in what you're feeling. And you're not just seeing them in front of you, you're seeing them in your mind. And it's a real trip. And you know, I was really into, remember that my dad, along with Magic's Not Real, any drug you ever take can kill you. If you take the first drink of alcohol, you might be an alcoholic. You'll never know if you don't take the first drink. Well, I took the first drink multiple times and never got addicted to alcohol. All the drugs I took, nothing killed me. My dad was talking about cocaine will kill you. These drugs here will kill you. Marijuana can kill you. And for pot, nothing happened. Just got high. You know, everything that I ever took made me high in some way. Yeah. Either high and down or high and high. You know, it was either an upper or a downer, but it didn't kill me. So I proved that magic worked and that drugs don't kill you. And that alcohol doesn't mean you're an alcoholic. And I'm having a great time. They also said that what happened to me when I was 11 was horrible and should have never happened to anybody. Here's a chance to get my power back. You can have sex with anybody you want. Nobody can tell you no. And if somebody asks you and you don't want to do it, you don't have to.
Right.
I'm like, okay. So, and then they showed me these magazines with kids in at my age and younger that are naked. And they showed me movies. You know, like at my house, you could watch a G-rated movie, so a lot of Disney, or PG, if it had been vetted by my dad first. But over here, I found out there were R-rated movies, X-rated movies, triple X-rated movies, triple X-rated movies with kids in at my age. Mm-hmm. And when I'm watching that video with kids my age, it's on a real video, those same kids are in the room with me. And they're telling me how awesome it is to be in these movies. And that if you agree to be in the movies, you'll be famous. And they were right. I would be in these movies. We would make movies, which is generally an hour and a half to 2 hours long. Vids, which are an hour long or less. Loops, which are 7 minutes long. And still photos. And a lot of times the still photos are taken directly from the movie. But sometimes they're taken, when you're making the movie, they're also taking still photos of you. Everybody had a fake name if you're on the screen. Right. So, you know, I wasn't Zachary King on the screen. I was Tommy. And then people would write in, and we would get, now I don't know if things changed or not, because I know you're 20 years younger than me. But when I was a kid, and you were in first grade, the paper you wrote on was long. It wasn't tall like it is when you get to high school.
Right. It was the same way.
It's wide, it's short, and the lines are really thick. And then you use a really fat pencil to write with. And so we would get pieces of paper in the mail, be in an envelope, and the return address might be Japan. And we'd open it up, and somebody wrote on that wide-ruled notebook paper in crayon. and it would say, we want to see Tommy in this particular sex scene with Little Bit. And this is what we want to see them do. And it looks like it's written by a child, and that they're wanting to see me and another one of the girls that's pretty famous in there in doing certain sex acts. And I thought it was awesome. And everybody that would get those, it was fan mail. And it would be from around the world. And it was always from a child. Now, remember that these things were not sold cheaply. No child could afford to buy this stuff. No child is also going to know how to find these videos, how to find how they're listed, and how to purchase one.
Right.
So it's not a child that's writing to us, it's a pedophile. But we didn't even know the term pedophile back then. So, and it would have been confusing to us, why is an adult watching us? Why isn't it children? Because when we watch the movies, there might be an adult that puts it in for us, but they usually don't even stay in the room.
Wow.
You know, it's just a bunch of children watching the movie. So
you're in the mindset that this is us making us kids making these movies for other kids.
For other kids, yeah.
Right. That's Mark, and then they just put it in like it was, you know, the Fox and the Hound, and take off.
Yeah, it's like, enjoy, you know, and they put that in and let us know if you want to watch another one. And they let me watch all the videos that they had. I saw everything, which was a lot, but it would give me ideas. They actually, before I started doing this stuff, they gave me a letter and they sealed it, and they said they gave me the address to take it to. And it was only a couple of blocks behind my house. And there was these 3 sisters and a brother that lived there with their mom. And I was told that, you know, just give the envelope to them and they'll take care of the rest. So I took it back to them, knocked on the door, and they all know me. And, you know, and I know all of them. But the oldest one is kind of snooty and doesn't talk to me. But the 2 younger ones do. And I give them the note. So they give it to the oldest sister. She reads it, and then she talks to the other 2 sisters. And they invite me into the house and have me sit down. And they said, okay, this is what's going to happen. Our youngest sister is going to take you into the bedroom and teach you everything she knows about sex. And then when you graduate her, you're going to move to this other girl, and she's going to teach you everything she knows. And then once you graduate her, you'll move to me, and I'll teach you what I know. When you've graduated all of us, you can be in movies. So the youngest girl was 8 years old. All 3 of these girls have been in porn since all of them were 3 years old.
Wow.
There's an 8-year-old, an 11-year-old, and a 14-year-old. And their mother had been in child pornography as well. And that's how she ended up getting pregnant with these 3 girls. So this, the 8-year-old teaches me what she knows to do. And I'm with her for almost 2 weeks. And I learn quite a bit of stuff. I had no idea that this is sex. You know, so I'm learning everything she knows to do. Then I'm with the 11-year-old, and I'm learning a bunch of stuff. And then one day when we're in the bedroom, and I'm naked in the bedroom, her mother walks in the back door, which is how when she gets home, she always walks in the back door. So she walks in the back door, and I just freeze. Because I don't know her mom knows what's going on. And I think I'm going to die.
Right.
Either mother's going to come in the room and kill me, or she's going to run over, get my dad, and he's going to come back and kill me. And her mom walks to the bedroom and knocks on the door. And I'm sitting there, I'm sure all the blood is drained from my face and death. And her daughter says, come in. And her mom opens the door. She's like, hey, how you doing? And she talks to me and she talks to her daughter. And then she asks her daughter, is he learning everything all right? She goes,
wow.
Yeah, he learned a lot with, the younger sister. And he's pretty good right now. he'll be ready for the oldest one soon. And she's like, all right. He goes, you want to stay for supper? And I was like, I have to ask my dad. He goes, I'll call in and ask him. You know, I'm just imagining she's going to call him and go, your son is having sex with my daughter.
Right.
You know, she didn't. She called and said, hey, your son is over here playing with my son. Are you okay if he stays for supper? Okay. Yeah, he's fine with it. Just whenever you're done, you'll have to walk home. Yeah, it's only a block. So, you know, and then she comes back and she tells us your dad said it's okay. Keep going. Have fun.
Wow.
And she walks out. And then, you know, like another few days, I moved on to the oldest girl, who pretty much instructed me for about a day. And then that was it. I went back and they said, you're ready to start. You know, and I had been in probably 5 movies when I got my first letter. And, you know, my first letter was a fan letter, and it called me the dark kid because all the other kids are white. They're white. And I'm dark. I'm Puerto Rican and Native American. So I'm dark. So they call me the dark kid or Tommy because at the end of the film, your picture comes up with your name beside it. And so they wanted to see Tommy with a little bit was the first request I got. And little bit was actually, when I started, I was 12. And little bit, I think, was 15 or 16. But she looked like she was 9. And she'd been in porn for like 8 years.
Wow.
And still looks like she's 9 years old. And obviously had the name Little Bit because he's super tiny. And, you know, I'm not thinking that these are adults that are writing in. It wasn't until I was an adult that I realized it couldn't have been children. I mean, how is a child in Japan going to know that we have these videos in Florida?
Right.
Where are we advertising in Japan that a Japanese child would be able to find this? And there are code words back then, and they would put a code word in the in an advertisement. There'd be a code word and then a PO box and an address. So if you know the code word, which I'd imagine most pedophiles would know, then once they see the code word, they know I can write there and get stuff. So I can write in and ask them for prices, or, you know, whatever it is I need to ask them to get what I want. And I know at one time the code word was butterfly.
Wow. And so they would put the advertisement just in like magazines and trades and newspapers and stuff?
Yeah. It'll be in the classifieds, and you look back there and you either see the word butterfly, or you see the picture of a butterfly, and then an address. So you know that you write to that address and ask, what are your prices? You know, or what are your prices for tapes or pictures or
Right.
videos or loops or whatever it is that you need. Money, water.
And the John Q. public, I mean, they don't know. They're not
Right.
paying attention to it. Yeah.
I've got ice. You can put it in my ice cup.
That's what
So I'm going through this world pretty much oblivious. You know, they would tell me things that I guess to them they thought, well, that the conversation makes sense to them. It doesn't really have to make sense to me.
Right.
So sometimes it didn't. You know, it's like, how do kids find these ads? You know, it's like, oh, we have ads in publications all around the world. And, you know, we advertise things like butterfly. And people know the code butterfly. And so they write in and they ask, you know, how much the prices are. Yeah. We tell them, and then they write back and send us a check or cash. And they buy whatever it is that they want. And it never occurred to me that a child wouldn't be able to write a check.
Right. or be even probably looking at those publications. But were you even really concerned with that part of it? Like, I mean,
No,
you're having, yeah,
no, I'm having a good time doing what I'm doing.
right,
So I'm taking all kind of booze. Um, my mom would give me, like, they ran an ice cream shop. So my mom would give me a large OJ to take to school. And I'm walking to school. So on the way there, I stop at another friend's house, and my friend gives me vodka in my OJ. So I
well,
walk to school drinking that. I get there. The teacher might take the lid off and look in it, but it's OJ. Puts the lid back on it, and they don't take it away from me. They let me drink it because it's healthy. So in the first class, I drink that down. By the second or third class, I am drunk. But if I know I'm going to start stumbling, I tell them suddenly I'm dizzy. I don't feel well.
right.
And so they let me lay down at the nurse's office, not realizing that I'm drunk. Or when I learned to handle my booze better, then I would carry gum with me to school. And once I've drank and I know if I burp, it's going to come up vodka, I would chew gum in between classes. I'd spit it out. So, I'm not chewing it in class.
Right.
But cinnamon or peppermint, spearmint are really strong. So you're going to smell that instead of vodka and OJ.
Right. And you got the money to buy these things without anybody
Right.
asking questions. So
Right.
12
Right.
years old, you're efficiently conducting yourself as like a 19 or 20-year-old would be.
I'm big pimping at 12.
Big pimping at 12. And so you're still practicing magic at this point in time too.
Oh, I love magic. I am like addicted to magic. Magic is dope. That is like,
Yeah.
I'm addicted to it. It is fun to do. And I get results when I do it. And this older kid runs up to me one day and he goes, you're in a satanic coven, right? And he takes off running. And I just laughed it off.
Right.
But one night at a sleepover, I saw a guy and a girl dressed in black robes with the cowl raised up. And I'm like, what are you guys doing? And they just got up and walked away. This kid told me it's a satanic coven. Is it? I don't know. But after about 2 weeks of thinking about it, I was kind of bothered by it. So I went up to an adult that I trusted. And I said, you're going to laugh, but I heard this was a satanic coven. Crazy, right? And I'm expecting him to like pat me on the back and tell me to go play, or just give me a hug and tassel my hair a little bit and say that's silly. Any of those things. But instead he said, it is. And my heart sunk into my stomach. And I was like, am I a member? No. Would you like to be? And I have people at my conferences, they're like, didn't you know right from wrong? Well, not exactly. The lines were kind of blurred at this point.
Right.
And, I am addicted to sex, and I'm smoking almost every day. Cigarettes, cigars, pipes. You got to be 19 to buy tobacco. I'm still 12. I'm addicted to pornography. You got to be 18 to buy porn. I'm still 12. You got to be 21 to buy booze. I'm still 12.
Right.
I am addicted to having sex. I love it. I love being on film. I love seeing myself on film. I love that people are writing to me from a foreign country saying that they want to see me and a particular girl on screen doing stuff. There's no greater feeling in the world than to get fan mail and to know that somebody on the other side of the world, somebody in France, is watching you. You may not be able to go to France, but your images can. You know, it's like you're almost living vicariously through your own film. And it is just an awesome feeling. And if I quit, I can't smoke tobacco anymore. I can't look at porn anymore. I can't be in porn anymore. And I'm addicted to all these things.
Right.
And all these things are my privileges. These are privileges to me. If I'm there, I get to do all these things. And if I quit, I don't get to do these things. Now, as far as the devil goes, we were taught in the Baptist church that Jesus defeated the devil on the cross 2,000 years ago. The devil's no threat. And the devil is afraid of the Baptist church. Now, if you believe that, then the devil can attack you all day, every day.
Absolutely.
And you don't know it's the devil because he's scared of the Baptist church. Now, it's odd that Satan, a mere creature, attacked God on his own turf. He wasn't afraid to attack God. That tells just how stupid he was.
Amen.
You know, and Saint Michael defeated him, kicked him, and the demons out of heaven. 1/3 of the angels fell.
Right.
And, you know, and the Baptist church thinks that Satan's afraid of them. So somehow the Baptist church has elevated themselves above God. But me thinking that Satan's afraid of me, then maybe he's giving me all this stuff because he likes me. Or maybe he's afraid of me. So he's trying to make me happy. All that is fine with me. So if I leave this place, I'm going to lose all my privileges. What do I have to do to join? Because you have 13 steps involved in joining a satanic coven, and you've done almost everything already. All you have left to do, you have to slice your left thumb. Left because it's closest to your heart. Hits by my son. I don't know what the song was, but I'm sure it's a hit somewhere.
Yeah, I'm sure it's a hit somewhere. She knows what it is.
So
You said that was your son?
that's my son, yeah.
No, your son. I'm sorry, not he knew. He knew exactly what it was.
Right. His name is Yeshua, but
Awesome.
we call him Chewy.
Chewy.
When his baby sister was young, she couldn't say Yeshua, but she could say Chewy. So
Right on.
So he's still Chewy. So I had to slice my left thumb, bleed onto a document, and sign it in 3 places in my own blood. The blood of Jesus washes away all sin, but not mine. Sign my name to that. Jesus died for everyone, but not me. And I sign my name to that. And on the final page of a 5-page document, I agree to sell my soul to the devil. And I sign my name to that. Now, when I'm at my talks, I usually have somebody sitting next to me because I like audience participation. So I ask the audience questions, and then the person next to me tells me how many people are responding. So I ask, how many people believe you can sell your soul to the devil? And we usually get about half, no matter how big the room is. And I've had over 17,000 people sitting in a place watching me speak. So half those people believe you can sell your soul to the devil. And then I ask my person, what kind of car do you drive? Like my wife drives a Honda Pilot. So I say, how many people here can legally sell me my wife's Honda Pilot? Nobody puts their hand up. I'm like, why not? Because it doesn't belong to us. Right. That's the same reason you can't sell your soul. It doesn't belong to you. You know, you may have heard Jesus died for you and resurrected. You can't sell your soul. Jesus paid the ultimate price for it. So it's his. You know, you can't loan it, you can't lease it, you certainly cannot sell it. And you may have heard Satan's a liar. I am here to confirm. You cannot trust anything the devil says. The devil says good morning, get a second opinion.
Absolutely.
But at 13 years old, I knew what's best. You ask any 13-year-old, they can solve the world's problems. They know everything and you're dumb. So I'm sure that my kids will be there eventually. Mom and dad are old-fashioned and old, and they don't know what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Currently in the house, Mom is Woody and I'm Buzz Lightyear. So she's no longer the cool parent. Now it's me. You know, and I'm like, it's not going to last long. Eventually, I won't be the cool parent either. And that's fine. I'll take it while it lasts.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you're right, it doesn't last long.
Right. Doesn't last long enough.
Yeah, doesn't last long enough.
So I agree to all these terms. They sound fine to me. I'm not even certain that hell is real. You know, and if Satan is afraid of me and I end up in hell, won't he be afraid of me there too?
Right.
I don't know. You know, Baptist preacher doesn't explain everything. And, you know, so I agree to all these terms. And then fast forward a couple of weeks. Well, no, it's been a couple of days. I'm at a farmhouse and they have this giant vat. I've seen it before, but not as a vat. It was like a giant demon's head skull. And now it's a vat. It's got human blood, pig's blood, and human urine in it. And you're wearing a white robe signifying you're losing your innocence. And they baptize you in that. You get in that vat, full submersion down, bring you back up. And then you go into another room and you take a shower. And you come out in a black robe with the cowl raised up over your head, signifying you've been baptized into a world of darkness. You come out, you sit in a chair, and they hand you a wheel about this big around with a crucifix in it. And so they read off the document you signed the night before or a couple of nights ago. Then you spin the crucifix upside down, signifying human sacrifice. You put your hands on the arms of Jesus and you break the arms downward, denouncing Christ. And what you're left with looks like a peace sign. And then they intertwine the document with that and tell you this is going to be locked in a vault and it'll be there till you die. And at the time of your death, then Satan will claim your soul. And like, all right, whatever. And then you celebrate that you're now a Satanist. But the reality of that moment is that you're celebrating that one day you're going to die and go to hell.
Wow.
And then they give me, most people wear a black robe with a red inverted pentagram on it. But the robe I wanted was the red robe with the black inverted pentagram. And that's what the mage wears. And the mage is the main magic practitioner. But there's multiple of them. You know, there's at least 10. But I wanted to be that because they practice the official magic of the coven. It's a magic position. And people treat them with respect. Even if the mage is a child, they get treated with more respect than the other children. Like their decision matters.
Wow.
Like the mage could say something stupid or silly, and the adults still pay attention. You know, because it's believed that he might be saying the words of Satan. We need to know. And they'll even write down what the mage says in case it is profound.
So it's a high spiritual position within the coven, no matter the age or anything.
Right. And you're respected. We've had mages, I've heard, I wasn't there, but mages as young as like 6 years old.
Wow. Mr. King, do you believe because we know that there is a spirit world, do you believe that some of these mages at that age may have been getting some sort of demonic communication?
Yeah.
I believe that as well.
Pretty much anybody can be open to demonic suggestion.
Right.
My ex-fiance I had a family, and she was saying, if we ever have kids, they're not hanging out with those kids, because those kids are influenced by the devil. And I said, well, if that's the case, you better go to sleep and not wake up, because all of us are influenced by the devil every day.
Yeah.
And I said, including yourself. And if you don't want to hang out with somebody that's influenced by the devil, you need to go home, lock all your doors, and go to bed, and don't wake up.
His influence is everywhere all the time.
Right.
And
the devil doesn't
every
sleep.
TV show, doesn't sleep. He walketh about seeking whom he may devour.
Right.
Absolutely. So you're 13 years old when you're inducted into the coven?
Yes.
So you're already 3 years into being a magic practitioner, and no, magic's real. But it's an old hat for you at this point in time, really.
Yes. But I'm enjoying everything I'm doing, because I'm in porno. Right. I was in porn for 4.5 years.
At the point where you became a coven member?
What's that?
Up to the point where you became a coven member, that's a span of like 4.5 years?
Well, when I started, I was 12. And then I was in it for 4.5 years from then.
Oh, I'm sorry.
12, 13, 14, 15, and then halfway into 16. And then I grew a mustache, and they said I couldn't shave it off, I couldn't wax it, and I couldn't bleach it. And now that I've got a mustache, I've aged out of child pornography. The only way I could stay in it is once I turn 18, I could come back and have sex with children like that. And I was like, no, that doesn't interest me.
Right.
I was cool having sex with children when I was a child, but not as an adult.
Right.
And they even introduced me to adult porn stars back then to see if I wanted to get into adult porn. And they're like, he's comfortable being naked. He can perform on screen. He can perform with a bunch of people all around him. He's perfect for your world. But I just wasn't interested. When you've had sex at that point, as much as I'd had it, I'd almost lost interest in it.
Right.
It wasn't
from such a young age.
It wasn't new and different anymore. It was, this again.
Yeah.
It's like having hamburgers every day, and you've done it every day for like 3 years, and it's like, okay, so now we're going to stop for a couple of days. Oh, look, here's a hamburger. Want it? No. Why not? I just had it every day for 3 years. Same old, same old. Not fun anymore. Well, the first time I had a hamburger was the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah.
But the 5,000th time, not so great.
And like they said when you first started, what happened to you when you were 11 at that school at the hands of that teacher. Like at this point in time, you'd move past that and you have this sense of freedom, right? Like,
well, remembering what happened to me as a child, I also don't want to do that to another child.
Right.
I don't want to face them as an adult and know that they're miserable. They're not having fun. They're not liking what's happening to them.
Right.
And we had children that were trafficked at that time, but I didn't know. I didn't know the term traffic. I didn't know that they were kidnapped. I would talk to girls sometimes, because some of the girls I knew were there because their parents put them there. They were Satanists, and their parents had their kids, but their parents put them there. My parents didn't know this was a satanic coven, but they knew almost all the parents that were involved, and they knew all the kids, or most of the kids.
Right.
And then we had some kids that would come in from out of town. And there was a girl that we were performing with, and it was time for a lunch break. So I'm having like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and a glass of milk. And I had a bag of chips and a packet of cookies. And I asked her if she wanted something. And they told me she's not allowed to eat. She has to be in a few more scenes and earn her food. And I looked at her, she just looked perpetually sad. She could smile on camera, but not on camera, she didn't ever smile.
Yeah.
And she's clearly hungry. You can see her ribs. She's starving, but she's not allowed to eat. And I told her, in the bathroom of this building, there's a screen in the window that's slightly broken at the bottom. I'm going to go out to the car because we have more sandwiches out there. I'm going to get something else. You need to go to the bathroom and I'll hand you a sandwich through the window. So I put my food down and I said that I was going to go get, and it was something that they said they needed earlier. And I said I was going to get it from the car. And they said, okay. So I ran outside, got to where that was, pulled out a sandwich, took it out of the bag, put it through the screen. She grabbed it, shoved the whole thing in her mouth.
Wow.
You know, chewed it, swallowed it almost whole. And then I gave her another one. She did the same thing and thanked me and said she had to get back out there. And so I'm out there. I bring in the stuff that I needed to bring in. And I put the sandwich bags in my pocket so no one would know I took it from the big stack, and unless somebody counts them. And then when I got inside, I threw the bags away. It looks like one of us took the sandwiches. And then I said, am I allowed to give her some milk, something to drink? I'm like, yeah, that's fine. Well, I mean, you know, she's got peanut butter in her mouth. You know, if she doesn't swallow it, she's going to get caught. And so she pretty much drinks my entire glass of milk, and which I'm fine with. You know, we got more. And I went and I got more. And, you know, I offered her more, and she said no. It's fine. So I drank the rest of my milk, finished my sandwiches, ate my cookies, and had my chips. And I said, I can't finish my chips. Can I give those to her? And they were like, yeah, that should be okay. So she got the remainder of my bag of chips. But they didn't know it. She had 2 sandwiches.
Right.
You know, and then she never performed well enough. To me, she was just as good as everybody else. But they never, at the end of the day, said, here, you earned some food. They never fed her.
Man.
You know, at the end of the day, she went back to wherever it is that they had her. They would bring her once in a while for certain movies. Because she liked, well, they said she liked to do certain scenes. So they would take her to those certain scenes.
That's awesome, though, that you devised a plan to, like, you know, help feed her and whatnot.
Well, I've been put to bed before without food, and that's
Right.
miserable. But she's not going to bed without food. She's performing, she's working, and she's not being fed. You know, I've been there before when she passed out on the set.
Wow.
She stood up to do something, she got dizzy, and she passed out.
From just malnutrition.
Right. She just needed something to eat. And I said that, she's probably hungry. And they're like, well, she's definitely hungry, but she needs to work through that.
Wow. That's remarkable that they and you're still like, hey, these I'm basically a movie star in Europe, right?
Right.
And you sound like you took it very like seriously, like the whole being like the celebrity overseas, or like an underground celebrity type status you had back then.
But, you know, to me, that shows you how naive I was.
Absolutely. Yeah, you had obviously no idea what was going on.
You know, here it is, adult pedophiles are watching my videos, and I'm thinking it's children.
Yeah, they're writing on little kids' paper from school.
Right, and they're writing fan mail to me, and I'm not realizing it's an adult. If I'd have known it was an adult, I don't know that I would have liked it.
Right.
Why is an adult watching me have sex? Why are adults watching all of us do stuff? You know, this doesn't feel right. You know, I was in a lot of incest videos. Now, they're called incest videos, but nobody on screen is related. That's not really your mom. It's not really your dad, and these aren't really your brothers and sisters. But um, my mom in the video is probably in her mid-20s, and my dad is also maybe mid to late 20s. So they would have had us at a very young age. But these women, the man that plays our dad is having sex with our sisters, and the woman that's our mom is having sex with all the males.
Mm.
And some of the males are as young as 3 or 4 years old. So the man and the woman are also pedophiles. You know, they want to be in these videos because they like having sex with children. But again, that's not, I mean, the mom and the dad really look young.
Yeah.
It's almost like they're big kids. So mom and dad are like big kids, and we're like small kids, and all the kids are having sex. And, you know, and I've had people say, did you feel this was wrong? Well, it was wrong in that I knew not to tell my dad.
Right.
You know, I didn't want to stop doing it. I knew that smoking cigarettes was bad. You have to be 19 to buy it. Well, I'm not 19. It doesn't say I'm not supposed to do it for any other reason, though. It just says you have to be 19 to do it. So anybody can do it. You just have to be this age or older. So what's the harm in me doing it? I'm 7 years younger. So I'm not allowed to drink till I'm 21, but I'm still allowed to drink when I get to be 21.
Right.
I'm 12, so that's 9 years away. Why can't I drink now? It's just an age restriction. It's not health. It's not against the will of God. It's not, you know, my parents didn't tell me I'm not allowed to drink. They just told me that if I took the first drink, I might be an alcoholic. Well, I took the first drink, and I wasn't an alcoholic, so I can do this. You know, to me, there was, Solomon had 1,000 wives.
Right.
Why is it bad for me to have sex with 1,000 people? Solomon
Right.
can do it, I can't.
And growing up in a Baptist house, I can relate to all the things that they tell us not to do. You know, and it's just like, you're not doing this because we said you're not doing it, and you accept that for an answer. But then, like, you got to see the other side of the coin. Every single thing that we were told not to do, you were then presented with, and that's okay over here.
Right. I performed in my first assisted abortion when I just turned 14, and I was told to get a ball of Play-Doh and practice with a scalpel stabbing the ball of Play-Doh because I'm going to be involved in an abortion in 9 months. And I was like, cool. And then I went home and I looked up the word abortion because I had no idea what it meant. I know that I thought it was a dirty word because when I was pretty young, my parents were talking about something and they whispered the word abortion. So I thought abortion must be a dirty word. Now that I'm an adult and I have a pro-life ministry, abortion is absolutely a dirty word. But I thought it was a dirty word, like the F-bomb's a dirty word. So I don't know what it is. I look it up in my dictionary. It's not there. I went to the library, had 2 books about at least 1 inch to 2 inches thick that were about abortion. And I got through school on Cliff Notes. I am not reading 2 inches of a book to find out what abortion is.
Yeah.
So I went back to my covenant and I was like, hey, I heard I got to do an abortion, but I don't know what that means. He goes, oh, you're killing a baby in the womb. I was like, is that legal? He goes, oh, yeah. In the womb, legal. Out of the womb, murder. Okay. So I practiced with the ball of Play-Doh or an apple or an orange. But I was also told, you know, when you do this abortion, it's just a lump of cells. It's just some tissue. It's not a real baby. You're not going to see anything. You're just going to see, this little bloody mass come out, and then you got to get some blood on your hands so you can do your X. And that's all there is. Now, why we're doing the abortion is that this guy was trying to pass some legislation in town, and he tried every legal avenue, and this means money in his pocket if he can get it, but no legal avenue will pass it. So he figured, I'll ask for a hex that'll cost him some big money, but the hex comes with an abortion. And it was taught to me that if you give the devil what he wants, he'll give you what you want. So the devil wants dead babies. Okay, give him a dead baby, he gives us what you want. So that's why we were doing it. So we had a sex party with all the men, all the boys aged 12 to 15, and a female that was called a breeder. He intentionally gets pregnant so she can get an abortion. And this would have been like her second or third one. And she's 19 years old. And so we meet at her house, and all the guys have sex with her. And then she gets pregnant. And about 9 months later, we're at the farmhouse. We're going to do an abortion. We've got all the men on one side of the farmhouse chanting and praying to Satan to keep police away, which is an odd thing because we had the sheriff's department was involved with our coven. I watched a girl die. And they called his deputy. He came over, wrapped her body up in a carpet, and carried her out and said, "I'll take care of it." And then I checked the area newspapers for over a month trying to find where a dead black girl was found, and never found it. Never appeared in the newspaper. But I mean, we were in the Everglades. You could have easily gotten rid of her by throwing her to the alligators, and they ate her and disposed of her.